Welcome back to Is It Still Good, the channel where we watch older films and let you know if they hold up. Today, we're going to talk about a gem from 1992, directed, produced, and starring Clint Eastwood, Unforgiven. But first, let's try to sell a book. We're back! Okay, hopefully we sold some books, and we're going to get to it. Sorry about the absence, guys. Lately life's been coming up and I haven't had time to do movie reviews. But hopefully I will have some more time in the future. I'm trying to do at least one per week, maybe two per week. But it all depends on when I can sit down, watch a film, take notes, go out and get a bunch of footage, edit the thing, do the sound editing, the whole nine. So it is a rigmarole. And lately I haven't had time. Thank you to everybody that's been buying books. I've had a speaking engagement and a couple of events concerning that. So thank you guys for the support. I do appreciate you. Unforgiven, 1992, rated R. This is a Western drama. Runs 2 hours, 10 minutes. And this is, as I said, directed, produced, and starring Clint Eastwood on a budget of $14.4 million. Made $159 million, so a hit. And was written by David Webb Peoples. IMDb gives it 8.2 out of 10. Stars Clint Eastwood, Gene Hackman, Morgan Freeman. Everybody's really amazing in this. Won Oscars for Best Picture, Best Supporting Actor, Gene Hackman, Best Editing. Very interesting. And this is a movie that kind of was under my radar for a little bit, kind of like The Hunt for Red October, where I know it's a good movie. I just hadn't seen it in a long time. I didn't know how good it was. It wasn't like amazing to me when I was a kid. So I really got to experience this film for the first time, it seems, as an adult, upon rewatching it for this channel. And I really love it. Like in the beginning, just the scene where he can't hit with the pistol, so he goes and gets the shotgun. And there's a lot of like understated humor to this movie. I was surprised by that. There's a lot of jokes in this film. I think it's awesome that he just like leaves the two kids alone. Like how tough were kids back then? Where he's like, if you get into any trouble, go see Sally Two Trees or whatever. That's it. They got to like deal with their hogs. Pretty cool. At its core, Unforgiven is a love story. It's about how a woman changed a man and he's changed his wicked ways. And he really refuses to forgive himself for his dark past. And I think that's just a really cool theme you don't see in a lot of like anti-hero gunslinging type movies. Like that's just really neat. Very layered. Usually when Clint Eastwood is directing a film, there's something about the story that has to resonate with him, where he sees like a deeper meaning to it all. Unforgiven certainly has that. Yeah, and this movie's oddly funny in spots. Like how he's falling off his horse, the whole nine. I prefer small, simple stories like this, by the way, with reduced casts, character building. Let me get to really know everybody. This film definitely has that. The acting is top-notch all around. Everybody's just acting their butts off. They're all really excellent in it. Gene Hackman was phenomenal. Morgan Freeman's always phenomenal. Clint Eastwood's great in this. Just seeing these guys, like how they're like sleeping outside. I bring a ton of stuff with me camping. It must be tough being a cowboy. Just a bedroll and a horse. Having a rougher background and, kind of being a bit of a reform case myself, I can relate to William Money in this in a lot of ways. I'm surprised by that. Richard Harris is pretty awesome as English Bob. He's only in it for a little while, but he's really good. And the English Bob scenario really sets up how badass Little Bill is, So I think that it was like really an essential piece of character building for Little Bill to see what he does to English Bob, who is an assassin and a badass in his own right. It was tough to watch Little Bill beat up sick William Money. That sucks. I hate that scene. And the scene where they shoot the first cowboy, that their quarry, that obviously this story, you guys saw a spoiler warning, these cowboys cut up a prostitute, and the prostitutes at the brothel have put out like a bounty for anybody that's going to deal with them. And, they're wondering whether or not the bounty even exists. And it's bringing in all these undesirable types into town that Little Bill keeps chasing away. William Money and his friends are the latest in the wave of bounty hunters coming to get their money. So the scene where they shoot they actually encounter and shoot the first cowboy. I think it's really well done. And it just shows like the toll that these deaths can take on them and how, just pulling the trigger is not so easy as it looks. And I really like how this movie just cut to the core of all the BS concerning gunplay and gun violence and things like that. Like, it does stay with you. It is a difficult thing. It's a very certain breed that can handle it. And this movie really does a great job of showing that, I think. Yeah, it's a new spin on the anti-hero story, in my opinion, where, the forgiveness it's got to come from within, and William Money will never forgive himself for the man he used to be. I really like that it shows that he's changed and he's a reform case, but he knows deep down he's still a cold-blooded killer. And when the climax of the movie happens, we actually get to see that, and it's it's eye-opening. So, I don't know. Some great quotes in this movie, too. What was that one quote where he says, "It's a hell of a thing killing a man. You take away all he's got and all he's ever going to have." And William Money answers, "I guess he had it coming. We all do."
We all have it coming, Captain.
Like, just some pretty cool quotes in this. Great acting, good writing, fine directing. A lot of motion in these shots, not a lot of static shots. The character building is in part due to the great direction, some nice silhouette shots, some really good lighting. I don't know, just a good story, just a good, simple story. I think Unforgiven is a fine film, a really, really good film. I would give it at least an 8 out of 10. I mean, I'd give it higher marks if it resonated with me more, or I don't know, I found deeper philosophies. I just think it's a really good movie. I think it's a solid 8 out of 10. It's just good. It's just a solid, good film. If you're in the mood for, kind of rainy, drizzly, kind of more honest take of the Wild West and the impact that killing and gunplay can have on a person over time, the psychological weight that would carry with them, the nuance of being conflicted in these scenarios. I mean, I think it's cool. One of my things when I watch an older film, as far as takes place in a different time, if it takes place too far in the past, it's very hard for me to get fully invested in all the characters. I have to forget I'm watching a movie. It's just one of those things where if it takes place too long ago, I'm like, yeah, and then they all died, right? So I know that's like a shortcoming of mine. This movie does a good job of getting me to care and forget that I'm watching a film. And I really appreciate that. You don't see that in a lot of newer films. So kind of the point of the channel is to go back and watch these movies and see if they hold up. Unforgiven certainly does. Great movie, great acting, highly recommend. If it's not your subject matter, fine, I get that. Kind of same here. But you can't deny it's just a really good movie. Like, I don't care about nuclear submarines, but The Hunt for Red October is awesome. So this is kind of like that. It's just a really good piece of cinema that, should be kicked around the zeitgeist, another few decades longer, in my opinion, because everybody did a really great job and it's worth watching. It's no Tombstone. I would prefer Tombstone above Unforgiven. Tombstone is like the exciting Unforgiven, but Unforgiven is kind of like what happens after Tombstone to a lot of the characters. You know what I mean? So very honest, real take on that. I like Unforgiven. 8 out of 10. That's my final take. I don't know what's coming next. Sin City, the Darjeeling Limited, bunch of comedies. You guys recommended a bunch of stuff. I'm just going to get to everything as soon as I can. Sorry about the delay. And I'm just going to get these reviews up whenever I can finish one. So here's Unforgiven. Hope you enjoyed. And we'll see you next time on Is It Still Good?
You don't have to worry, kid. I ain't gonna kill you. You're the only friend I got.